Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 13, I think. I think this is 13. Let's say it's 13. Of the
If
OutLoud
it isn't,
Culture...
it is now.
Yeah, of the OutLoud Culture podcast. My name is Alex Shannon, and this week we're going to be discussing the 88th Academy Awards. Well, mostly the winners, because
And
we already kind of discussed it in the awards show.
in much extent, and along with a bunch of other awards. But yeah, this week we're just covering the Oscars, and I'm Vlad Pavlov, and happy to be back for this one.
Yep, so let's just go ahead and get started on Best Picture.
All right,
I didn't
yeah,
watch
this
any
was
of
a
these.
sorry.
I did
Yeah,
not
oh yeah,
watch
you
any
still
of
got around
these.
taking them. It was a. I've said this before in the other podcast. Yeah, this was a very competitive year for Best Picture, and it really could have gone to maybe about four of these. And the it wasn't that big of a surprise. The Spotlight one, I mean, it was kind of a given, but the Revenant or the Big Short or Brooklyn could have been thrown in there. But yeah, Spotlight won, and it was just a good ensemble cast. There was nothing amazing about it, but that's just the way that the movie was filmed. It was just an understated movie. It was an underacted movie because it needed to be for what it was covering.
Yeah, that you've got spy movie, you got a whole bunch of like laid back stuff, and then all of a sudden you've got Fury Road, The Martian, and The Revenant.
I don't know, one of those really does not belong. I love Fury Road, but that is a weird no spot.
And people really seem to like it. I still haven't seen any of the Mad Max movies, so I'm hopefully gonna be trying to watch all of them soon because I still haven't released my best movies list.
Yeah, yeah, well,
And
it was a very good movie, and it played off the franchise well.
cool. Yeah, and then we got best director here. We got
Yeah, this yeah, go
Alejandro
ahead.
G. Inari in Inyar.
Huerto?
Yeah, sure that for The Revenant. Adam McKay for The Big Short, George Miller for Fury Road, Lenny Abramson for The Room, and Tom McCarthy for Spotlight. And it's kind of odd that you got okay for Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Director. It's almost the same thing except for like a few of them.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
usually
no.
how it is almost every year, though.
Actually, no. Oh, Best Actor is only just like
There was no
two.
Mad Max.
Yeah, there was no Tom Hardy
Uh,
on there, but yeah, The Revenant hint for Best Director.
Best director, best actor, best picture.
Didn't
Room
win
went
though.
up for. I'll just go on what it was
Yeah,
all listed by.
it was nominated for Best Picture as well. So yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, this one, this wasn't too big of a surprise. He just came. This is, of course, Alejandro won this one, and it's not really a big surprise. He came off last year with Birdman, and this year he did The Revenant, which was a fantastic movie. Just it came off really well, and it wasn't a surprise that after everything I went through with this movie, that this won Best Director. I mean, you had Adam McKay, who was it was a big change for Adam McKay to The Big Short, and then George Miller having a 70-year-old action director is really weird. And then Room and Spotlight were just they were kind of the odd ones out. It was really between Big Short and Revenant, but I think everybody knew it was gonna be Alejandro this year again.
from the looking at his history, he's on a massive roll here.
Oh, he is. He's definitely one of the ones that we definitely need to look out for in the future. Where he's gonna be one of the great names, I think.
Yep. And then for Best Actor, this is the big news. Leonardo DiCaprio finally won Best Actor.
Yes, finally. It took forever for that, but yeah, finally it happened for the Revenant. And this wasn't his best role. We'll just say that out right here. This isn't his best role. He's had a lot better roles, but I'm glad he did finally win one. And
It's it's basically like this was the one the Academy allowed him to have.
I mean, it was strong this year. I mean, Michael Fassbender did an excellent job in Steve Jobs. Eddie Redmayne did the Danish Girl, which he did good at. And I was really against this movie last time, but then I went back and rewatched it. Bryan Cranston and Trumbo. I mentioned that I thought that was the odd one out, how it just didn't seem to fit. After rewatching the movie, he earned that. Like he did really good. Just the overall movie wasn't that spectacular, and I forgot about his acting.
It's
So
like
it really was tough.
Fassbender and Steve Jobs because
Hmm.
he did a good job, but he wasn't playing Steve Jobs. He was playing tech guy.
Yeah, he was playing generic tech guy. Who just so happens to have a similar story to Steve Jobs. Yeah, it wasn't his best. He acted it very well, like he did. He Michael Fassbender was amazing in that. I just didn't feel like he was Steve Jobs, and that's a big problem.
What movie do you think DiCaprio should have won Best Actor for instead of this?
Still, my favorite of his is The Aviator. He lost that one to Ray, played by Jamie Foxx. I still think that was his best role. He did amazing in that, playing Howard Hughes, who had OCD, and that transition for going like a rich billionaire to slowly losing his mind and just going crazy and locked inside of his own private theater. He did it so well.
That was a really good role. I liked his performance in Inception.
I
I
don't think
think
Inception was Oscar worthy, but yeah, it was still pretty good.
I was just saying that was pretty good. His performance in The Departed was good.
Mm-hmm. Blood Diamond, he was
I,
good in
I
that.
haven't seen that, but it, I'll give that to you.
I mean, yeah, he's had a bunch of great roles, and this was his sixth time being nominated, and he finally won. That's the big news that everybody's talking about.
And for Best Actress, well, Best Actress is Brie Larson for The Room, whom in the nominees were Kate Blanchett and Carol, Jennifer Lawrence and Joy, Charlotte Ramping in 45 Years, and Saoirse Ronan in Brooklyn.
Yeah, yeah, I brought this up in the last one again. This one was a no. Sam Brie Larson, she was winning all the other major awards, so it's not a surprise she won. Kate Blanchett might have been able to give her a run for their money, but other than that, I think it was all her.
I'll take your word for it, man. Then we come to the biggest controversy in the entire Oscars.
Yeah, I have
I
to
mean, the
agree with
biggest
this one.
relevant controversy. Yeah, I mean, Best Supporting Actor. Now, everybody was pushing for Stallone and Creed.
No, yeah,
Pretty
everybody.
much everyone. But Mark Rylance won for Bridge of Spies.
Yeah, that was a big surprise to me. I really thought that Sylvester Stallone did an amazing job, and I thought that he had it. Again, he was another one who's winning all the awards, so we kind of figured he'd have it, and just it never happened. And from what I hear, Mark Rylance got this Oscar without doing any promotion, any like anything that most Oscar winners have to do to get their Oscar. They have to go around and do all this and that, and the politics of the Oscars.
Yeah,
From
you
my
see,
understanding, from my understanding, he didn't have to do any of this. It was really just kind of a thing that it just kind of happened, and
mm,
I think it's good that something like that finally did happen. But I really thought it was Stallone's year.
yeah, I kind of feel like it should have either been Bale or Stallone, because it's it. Christian Bale is a great actor too.
Oh yeah, he's always fantastic. I'm
Yeah,
disappointed he dropped out of that Enzo Ferrari movie.
yeah. Tom Hardy was nominated for The Revenant. Mark Ruffalo for
Hmm.
Spotlight. That supporting actor was a weird thing because, like you said, from what you said, Spotlight was not spectacular enough to deserve any of these nominations.
Well, it's not that. It's just the fact that based on the story it has to tell, the acting does have to be understated. Like you can't go out there, and Mark Ruffalo did have a few good scenes where he could actually get amped up and go crazy for a little bit, just
Mm.
start really screaming. But for the most part, you couldn't do that in this movie because of the way it was being handled, and the fact that it's based on a true story,
Oh yeah,
and and just everything. You just couldn't really amp it up as much. It was really more subdued. It was more of a I don't want to say subtle acting because people think that is a bad thing, but it wasn't like in your face. Look how good we are. Like, we see Leonardo DiCaprio's always screaming in camera, and you can feel the intensity and everything. This one didn't really have that, and it's not. It's just different for what you expect.
Best Supporting Actress, Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl. She won. Jennifer Jason Leigh was nominated for The Hateful Eight. Rooney Mara for Carol. Rachel McAdams for Spotlight, and Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs.
I
From
was
what
honestly going for. Oh, god.
from what I've heard, a lot of people were pushing for Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I knew a few people who were pushing for Rooney Mara too, and
Yeah, it would.
yeah,
I was gonna say it would be good to see her win because she's had a bad acting streak recently, and she almost quit acting several times. So it's good to see her in a good role and maybe win an Oscar. She can come back to where she was.
mm-hmm.
But same with Jennifer Jason Leigh, where she had that kind of bad time in the 90s and early 2000s. And really up to the last couple of years, she wasn't anything. And she was finally nominated for this. And I thought that she would get it. But I'm not upset about Alicia Vikander. She was amazing. I think she's another one that's going to be she's going to be a star to watch right now. She starred in 2 amazing movies this year. And she was also a Man from U.N.C.L.E., which was still pretty good. And yeah, she's going to have a great career, I think. And she's young, and I wasn't upset to see her win.
Well, then we come to Best Original Screenplay, probably the second biggest controversy of the night.
For several reasons.
Spotlight won. Bridge of Spies was nominated. Ex Machina was nominated. Inside Out was nominated. And Straight Outta Compton was nominated. And now, I take, Spotlight, Bridge of Spies, and Straight Outta Compton are all adapted from true stories, right?
Correct.
Why are they on Best Original Screenplay?
An adapted screenplay is usually if it's based on a book or something. These weren't necessarily books. They had to go out and they had to get all the information themselves and just kind of.
Well, yeah, but you get my point. It's not like somebody just came up with the story. It's something that
Yeah.
was real, that happened.
Yeah, but with all these, then we miss out on having Quentin Tarantino didn't get it. Aaron Sorkin didn't get nominated. So it was just a bad category to start with.
Yeah.
We had 2 of the best screenwriters working right now put out a movie this year, and they got absolutely no recognition from the Oscars.
And
that was just one I didn't really care about who won because there's kind of.
Yeah, I was pushing for Straight Outta Compton to win that mostly because it was the only Oscar it was nominated for.
Yeah, that was a fantastic movie. I'm still upset that was it. It should have got some acting nods. It should have got just acting. I agree. The screenwriting should have got directing. It should have got picture. It should have got a lot.
Yeah. What's his name? I forgot who played Eazy-E in that, but
Jason Mitchell.
Yeah, Jason Mitchell should have been nominated for Best Actor for that. Hands down.
Yeah, I did not see how he wasn't nominated. It was a tough year, but if I had to pick anybody that got snubbed, it was him.
Mm-hmm. Then we got Best Adapted Screenplay. The Big Short won. Brooklyn, Carolyn, The Martian, and The Room. Well, and Room were all nominated.
Yeah, not The Room. That's a lot different.
I keep saying, and everybody's gonna forget. Everybody's gonna confuse those.
I know that one word makes a major difference between one of the best movies and one of the worst movies ever made.
I mean,
these were all adapted pretty good. Big Short had a much harder job, so I do think that it deserved the win, but they were all adapted pretty well. The Martian, it was really pretty much all spelled out, so that was a little bit weird. They didn't really have to do much imagining with The Martian. It was just basically page to movie. It was already all explained. A lot of it was dialogue, but The Big Short, you had to find a way to explain it in a way that fit the movie.
Yeah, that's the problem with adapting things. Sometimes you have everything you need, sometimes you don't. And, best adapted screenplay should go to whoever did the best job adapting a screenplay. So,
Yeah. Can we just agree that the samples that they picked during the actual Oscars, you know how they like had when they came across and they announced that they show like little excerpts? They did a really bad job with the screenplay ones. They
yeah,
were really bad. Those
I'll,
were bad, and the acting ones were terrible. I'm like, they chose the worst possible things they could think of.
I'll definitely agree with you there on that. They did a pretty bad job on the clips.
Like I like had certain ideas in mind of like what they'd be using for each one for acting and screenplay, and just kind of like this is really off. They're choosing like the worst scenes they're in, and it was we need to get better people to pick those.
They always kind of do, who choose weird scenes for the Oscars, though.
Like the only one I was actually impressed by for acting was actually Jennifer Lawrence's. As much as I hate her, they chose a good scene for her.
Yeah.
Other than that, like everyone's just kind of
And then we have Best Animated Feature Film. There was no. Inside Out was the one that was always going to win. I don't think there was ever going to be something else.
yeah, that was no contest.
I mean, when Pixar puts out a movie, they win
It's
Best Animated
nominated and it
Picture.
wins. Like nothing else would have. Anomalisa was probably the only one that could have stood up to it. But
I mean,
again, that comes with the whole
this Shaun the Sheep the
just
movie. So
yeah. Shaun the Sheep the movie though had no like dialogue or anything, and then yeah, Anomalisa it has that problem with again most people when they think animated think kids movies, and it's not a kids movie, and it just kind of
it's a good thing
say
Ghibli didn't. It's a good thing Ghibli didn't put out a movie this year.
no, it's always nominated when they do.
Then we come to Best Foreign Language Film. This is all just a wash. Son of Saul won on I think the best foreign language movie I saw all year, and I actually saw quite a few, was Kamen Rider Drive Surprise Future. And
Yeah, everybody's talking about that one.
yeah, it won't. Here's the thing: it's not the kind of movie that's ever gonna be even nominated for this because it's part of a superhero series, an ongoing superhero franchise.
hmm Yeah, everything that I've heard is that yeah, Son of Saul deserved it. I almost went to go see it. We had a like an indie film festival at our theater. I didn't get to go to it, but yeah, Son of Saul was playing. I hear that it's getting great reviews, so it wasn't a surprise that it won to me.
Not really. I mean, I did hear that was really good. I haven't heard of any of the other movies on this list.
Yeah, I mean neither. And it's pretty much gonna go that way for a couple of them.
Mm. Then we have Best Documentary Feature. Amy won, Cartel Land, and The Look of Silence, What Happened, Miss Simone, and Winter on Fire, Ukraine's Fight for Freedom are all nominated.
And oddly enough, yeah, Amy won.
Yeah, that movie about Amy Winehouse, right?
Yep,
That's
which
pretty
her
much
father
yeah.
now completely against that movie because of the way it painted him, and yeah.
That is like the only movie on that list I have ever even heard of.
I mean, it's just weird that a movie about a pop singer wins out over, movies about cartels, movie about war and stuff. And
Yeah.
it was really weird for the Oscars to pick that documentary instead of the other ones.
Here's the
Usually they want
question:
to go with the more political based docs.
are these actually documentaries or are these biopics?
They're all documentaries. Amy, they
Hmm.
took bits from her actual behind the scenes with stuff, and yeah, they did it with all of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
there was like nobody playing Amy Winehouse. They took like behind the scenes footage of what she was saying and just her real life and home video and just put it all together to tell the story.
That's good because sometimes you'll see biopics in the documentary section or documentaries in the biopic section, and that's. I'm glad the
It's
Academy hasn't fallen into that little pitfall.
yeah, it's becoming a thin line recently, but yeah,
And again, things like Steve Jobs make the line a whole lot thicker.
Where it's like, yeah, this is completely false, but yeah, we'll just go with it.
We have Best Documentary Short Subject, Girl in the River, The Price of Forgiveness won, Body Team 12, Shao Behind the Lines, called Landsman Inspectors of the Showa, SHOH, and Last Day of Freedom were all nominated. I haven't seen any of these. I haven't heard of any of these. What about you?
Yeah, that was one I didn't know anything about.
Don't
I
know,
mean,
don't care.
essentially, as much as I hate to say, yeah, I have no idea.
Best live action short film, Stutterer won, Ave Maria, Day One, Everything Will Be Okay, and Shock were all nominated. Any
Yeah, again,
comment at all?
nope, don't know any of these either. Uh, it just sounds. I mean, I want to watch Stutter now because it seems to be based on something I've had to deal with in my life, not me personally, but with friends and stuff. So I kind of want to see it, but I just haven't seen it, so I don't know anything.
Okay, then we get to Best Animated Short Film, Bear Story. He won. Prologue, Sanjay's Super Team, We Can't Live Without the Cosmos, and World of Tomorrow were all nominated.
Again, don't
Bleh.
know any of these, so I put in my 2 cents. That I was disappointed that lava one that they put before Inside Out wasn't nominated, but other than that, I don't know anything else.
Hang on. I think I've actually heard of Bear Story. What is that? Originally released in 2014 in Chile.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot that was Chile. Because when
That
they came up, they said that was the very first Oscar for Chile.
this thing isn't this thing isn't even eligible.
2014. Well, I guess it depends on when it got all of its releases.
Oh yeah, because if it was released at a because it doesn't actually say here because if it was actually released at a festival as opposed to like theatrically or whatnot, then yeah, that
Right.
definitely doesn't count. Wikipedia is weird like that
Yeah,
because
because
they will count the festival release before they'll actually count the public release of something.
right, and also since it's not from America, maybe they're counting the American release date or whatever. Sometimes it gets
Yeah,
there's a blurred line there.
yeah.
Again,
Best original score. Now, this is a rather huge snub here. John Williams did not win for episode 7.
see, I'm not considering it a huge snub. Yeah, he did good with it, but the score for the Hateful Eight was also very amazing. I have to say,
That's like the
and
only thing I've listened to because I just pulled up the score and I was listening to that while I was working on my review. It's a really good score.
it is like when I first heard, I thought it was really understated. Like I'm like I can't think of any of the new ones. Like I only remember like the old stuff that they brought back. When I went back and listened, like Ray's theme is amazing, and there's a lot of other themes and new songs he put in there actually are pretty good. But the Hateful Eight, yeah, I thought that he did do a good job with that. I thought it was really good, and the guy was like 87 years old and he's never won an Oscar. So I'm kind of saying
That's
let's just give him this one.
yeah. I mean, The Force Awakens had a good score, but it really wasn't quite as good as okay, let's just say this. It wasn't as good as the episode 3 score. It wasn't as good as the episode 5 score.
Even episode one.
Even episode 1.
I mean, episode one had dual fates, and everybody loves that. And again, this is one that I actually had to go back and look up the songs after watching it twice because I just didn't, I couldn't think of them. And now that I listen to them again, they are good, but it just, yeah.
Here's hoping for a better score for episode 8 because
Mm-hmm.
just get something that's as memorable as Duel of the Fates or the original Star Wars theme or I don't know,
The
March of
Imperial
the
theme,
Empire.
Imperial March.
Yeah, the Imperial
Yeah.
March. Best original song.
This was another major surprise. Go ahead, say it.
Writings on the Wall from Spectre won.
Yeah, which that one alone and the speech after caused quite a bit of
No,
controversy.
no,
If you guys
no,
didn't know about
no,
that.
no.
because Sam Smith went up there and talked about being the first openly gay man to win an Oscar, and that wasn't true.
No, not in the slightest.
Probably should have done a fact check on that.
Absolutely
When
not in the
that
slightest.
when Ian McKellen brought that up, he said actor, and he said in a while, not ever. But nice try.
He doesn't. He didn't deserve that Oscar.
No, it should have gone to Lady Gaga.
She wasn't even nominated.
Yeah, she was. Until it happens to you from the hunting ground.
Huh? Oh, I didn't see that. Because all I saw
Yeah,
here was Diane Warren, and then I didn't see Lady Gaga there.
yeah, that was her.
Writings on the Wall shouldn't even have been nominated. That is a. It,
Yeah, it was.
it's
It was a
it's
weird.
it's reality era WWE music level of lazy.
It was like he admits several times he wrote in 15 minutes, and you can tell. And he didn't even perform it good at the Oscars, and he admits that he was nervous and he couldn't do it right. And
Didn't
yeah,
Motorhead
he even performed it terribly.
didn't Motorhead make a theme song for Spectre too?
I don't know if Motorhead did. I know Muse did.
Okay, well, there was some awesome rock and roll track by I think it was either Motorhead or I think it was they released it late last year. It was really good. It blew Sam Smith's terrible song out of the water. So,
Yeah, it's just. I was happy when he got the song. Then I actually heard it. I was just like, and it kind of fit the tone of the movie, but it just didn't work.
it's no
And yeah, I
Skyfall.
can't believe it won.
I mean,
Definitely
I
not.
would have given it to Earned It from
It's
50
not.
Shades of Grey before I would have given
Oh,
it to Writings on the Wall, personally.
exactly. Yeah, the weekend deserved it more than him.
Hmm. And the weekend's actually grown on me a bit since the awards cast.
That's good.
Best sound editing, we've got Fury Road 1, Martian, The Revenant, Sicario, and The Force Awakens were all nominated. Yeah,
Yeah, now we're gonna get into the
I mean just
Mad
just
Max.
solely
Because Mad
based
Max wins
on
everything.
the trailer. Yes.
Oh yeah, they had a tough job with everything in that movie. And it did deserve all the technical awards, and of course, including this one. So yeah, it's not really a surprise that this one won. But hey,
Yeah, and then it won Best Sound Mixing.
sound mixing as
Okay,
well.
that's mixing and editing go hand in hand. So, I mean, I
Yeah, they're
can.
slightly different, but
They're slightly different because you have to. The mixing comes after the editing, but mixing is also a form of editing.
mhm,
So, it does kind of make sense that they'd be different.
yeah.
Because,
So yeah, occasionally you'll have something
yeah,
that
you can have good
sound mixing a
mixing.
little better than the editing because it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, they definitely had good mixing and good editing for Fury Road, so it's good that it won both of those. Bridge of Spies,
Hmm.
The Martian, and The Revenant were all
And
nominated.
Star Wars.
And The Force Awakens, yeah. That's something that I think. The Force Awakens had some really good sound mixing, but I think Fury Road, well, again, based on the trailer alone, because I haven't watched it, I think Fury Road had slightly better mixing, or at least
Hmm.
more technical mixing.
Yeah, you had to deal with more explosions, and then plus the lows of the people talking because of the way Tom Hardy talks or the way that Charlize Theron talks at certain scenes. And then yeah, you had the loud explosions, gigantic explosions, and giant trucks, and yeah, it was a lot harder to mix that. I'd say
Hmm. Because The Force Awakens
it was all basically
mostly,
one level.
yeah, is you basically just have to deal with the the background noise when they're flying around in space, which isn't really all that much, and then like the effects. But other than that, you're mostly just talking about speaking and
Yeah,
basic
basically the
effects.
entire movie was just basically the whole movie was just loud. That's basically all it was. And not saying that that's a bad thing. It works for what it was, but it's just not good enough to win an Oscar.
Yeah. Best production design, Fury Road won, Bridge of Spies, Danish Girl,
Surprise.
Martian, and The Revenant were all nominated. Surprised Force Awakens wasn't on this because that was that was actually quite a bit of work on their production design, and because they had to go
Yeah, that
back
is a
and
big one.
huh
I said, yeah, that is a big snub that you mentioned that.
yeah, because they had practical sets for everything in that, just like in Fury
They had to go
Road.
back and remake everything and get everything set up, and yeah,
Hmm.
and then you
Best,
have to make us believe this crazy world too. Same with
hmm
Mad Max, but
so I'd say maybe just you could bump off Bridge of Spies of the Danish Girl, maybe.
I'd say probably. See, those are both tough because they're period pieces, which are
Yeah.
also harder to make. So it just depends on what you're more looking at. If you're looking at period pieces,
Hmm.
sci-fi. So it's a complicated area comparing these.
Yeah, it really is. Best
Cinnamon.
cinematography, yes. The Revenant won. Carol, The Hateful Eight, Fury Road, and Sicario were all nominated.
This is like one of the only like technical type awards that Mad Max didn't actually win.
Yeah, I find that a little bit odd because, again, there was a lot of complicated camera work in that.
Yeah, there's a lot of complicated. It is a lot of complicated camera work, but I think the Revenant just it was shot better. Like it wasn't so crazy and over the top, but it was
Well,
just
yeah,
shot better than
you can have incredibly complicated camera work and still have the cinematography be better in something else.
yeah, sometimes incredibly simple works. In this movie, it goes in the Revenant goes from incredibly simple with just long, beautiful shots, that opening shot, and then just crazy rough shots of just absolute insanity with like him being mauled. So yeah, it depends.
Then you've got Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Fury Road won. The 100-year-old man who climbed out the window and disappeared was nominated, along with The Revenant. That is like
Yeah,
the that is an incredibly long title for a movie that was only nominated for one Oscar.
hmm But based on the clips that they showed, it actually looks like it deserved that nomination.
I'm actually
Like
kind
they
of
all did
surprised they
amazing.
didn't have Star Wars on there because again, and all of the aliens.
Yeah, most of them. But then of course we did have like CGI Snoke and Maz, and yeah. So
I think
the more
Maz was the
complicated
only
ones were it and
Maz was the
Snoke.
only one that was fully CG. I think. Then there
But yeah,
was
you have to think those are the most complicated ones, and the rest was all
mhm.
kind of simple to be honest.
And you've got Best Costume Design. Fury Road won. Carol, Cinderella, Danish Girl, and The Revenant were all nominated.
This
Mm,
is one I was honestly surprised didn't go to Cinderella.
yeah, because and this is based solely on the posters that I've seen for
hmm
this. That was some brilliant costume design.
It was all very beautiful, and it matched it perfectly. And I was honestly surprised. Like I knew it was going to be Cinderella or Mad Max, and those are two polar opposites. And
Yeah.
I think it just went to Mad Max just because of how unique it was. Where Cinderella was just beautiful and eye popping, and the blues were so bright and everything. Mad Max was just different. It was its own style where, it's just different.
Yeah, me personally, now, this is, again, in Kamen Rider Drive Surprise Future, but then again, most of the costumes in that are left over from the TV series because
hmm
they've got incredibly good costume design for the series as well as the movie. He's so, you know.
I was honestly surprised to not. I think I might have brought this up to not see the Man from Uncle on here. It takes place in the
Yeah,
1960s, and they replicated it perfectly. So I was honestly surprised to not see that.
yeah, me too. I mean, the Revenant definitely needed to be on there because, you have to,
The furs and everything.
yeah, all the furs, all the clothing and everything. I think definitely. Um, Best film editing, Fury Road won.
Again,
The
big
Big
surprise.
Short, The Revenant, Spotlight, and The Force Awakens were all nominated.
And
Does
this one was actually a lot closer, I think.
does Spotlight really deserve to be on there though?
Uh,
Because
Probably not as much as the others. They probably could have.
I was gonna
That's the
say
odd one
you'd have to
out.
go out of your way to make that to make a film like that have bad editing.
Yeah, but then again, it's just another thing where sometimes simpler is better, and
Yeah.
maybe it's just more stuff that we couldn't actually see because I don't know, but maybe we're just weren't paying that much of attention. But overall, these all were good choices. They all had incredible editing, and
Hmm.
The Big Short, especially the way it had to deal with everything again, was really good. And Star Wars is another one that's a little weird, but
Yeah, I think towards the end they were sort of starting to.
it felt a little lazy editing wise at the
Yeah,
end.
I think we definitely need to see to see the original 4 hour director's cut to actually get the whole picture of what that movie was supposed to be.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
we
Mad Max one again. That's no surprise. So
Yeah, then we come to best visual effects. Ex Machina won. Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, and The Force Awakens were all nominated.
yeah, another one that I was expecting Mad Max to win. I loved Ex Machina and I thought it was an amazing movie, but as much as I wanted to win, I didn't think it had any chance. And I'm very happy to see that it won now that it's an Oscar-winning movie. But
Even though it
this
only
is
won
another
like what, one Oscar?
one. Yeah, that was its only Oscar.
Yeah, I don't
Even
think
though Alicia Vikander was in it, but she wasn't nominated for that. So
it
even though
was
she
not.
probably should have been.
It was not nominated for anything else.
Nope, that was it. Just the one Oscar and it won it. But this is another case of less is more, I think, where it didn't
Yeah.
have too much crazy over the top stuff like Star Wars or Mad Max had, but it was less, and the way they did Ava was very well done. And I'm not really like crazy surprised to see it. I just didn't expect it with Mad Max up there and Star Wars, and oddly enough, The Martian with Matt Damon's CGI beard that
Mm.
was weird.
So now we come to honorary awards.
Yeah,
Spike
yeah,
Lee won. I don't know. Got an honorary award. Gina Rowlands won an honorary award. Debbie Reynolds won the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award.
yeah. Spike Lee. Hey, thanks for this. I'm still not coming.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're gonna give an award to the one person in filmmaking who's more disagreeable than Quentin Tarantino,
Yeah,
and who also doesn't really make that many good movies.
yeah. That one just it was really out of place.
That's
But
just
hey,
baffling.
yeah. But hey, whatever. Did those honorary awards mean pretty much nothing? So
I mean, at least it's not the industry icon award or for the game awards. Yeah, so Fury Road won 6 Oscars, The Revenant won 3, Spotlight won 2. That's the only 3 movies won multiple Oscars. Revenant had 12
yeah,
nominations, Fury Road 10, Martian and 7, Bridge of Spies, Carol and Spotlight 6, Big Short and Force Awakens 5, Danish Girl 1, Room 4, Brooklyn, The Hateful Eight, Sicario 3, Ex Machina, Inside Out, and Steve Jobs for 2. So we're pretty much
yeah. It was like
yeah.
because you have to think like all the technical awards, almost all the technical awards, they went to Mad Max. Like it was just
Mm-hmm.
if it was technical, it went to Mad Max. If it was acting, it was a little all over the place. But
Yep.
like it was weird to see best director, best picture to be two different ones because usually they're the same.
Yeah.
Like last year it was Alejandro and Birdman. This year it's Alejandro and Spotlight, which is really weird. And also not have the best actor, and he did work with the best director, but he wasn't in the best movie, and also didn't work with any of the supporting. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's actually hang on. I think the Revenant's on here for supporting.
Yep, Tom
Yeah,
Hardy was in it for it.
Tom Hardy. That was a busy
Yeah,
year
but
for him.
I know he did amazing this year. Like he had a good year again. Alicia Vikander had a good year. It was good to see Jennifer Jason Leigh back again. I think she did good. Kate Winslet had a good year. I mean, just that one movie, but she still did really good in it.
Hmm.
And Stallone's come back, and yeah, it was a good year for a lot of these people. Like we're now being dominated for about 20 people or so.
Overall, I'd say this was a pretty good year. It's just that, the nominations were a bit sparse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think this last year's going to go down as one of the best years. I mean, the blockbusters weren't all there, but I mean, like critic wise, I mean, they did amazing. I mean, we had Force Awakens and Jurassic World breaking records.
Nope, no Jurassic World on this. It's kind
Nope,
of.
I'm just talking like financial
I
records.
know. I'm just saying, it's it's like big and groundbreaking and a big comeback. So you almost expect to see it, and with them having Fury Road and The Force Awakens on here so much.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not really surprised it wasn't anything spectacular. So,
Oh no, I mean the Jurassic. I haven't seen it again, but from what I've heard, it's basically like the same case as Jurassic Park 2 and 3. The first one was better.
oh yeah, by far, nothing's ever going to beat that first one. It's going to be
No.
almost impossible.
No, I mean, even, I even like Jurassic Park 2 and 3, but I still say it was better off. The first one was better, and they were starting to get into some sequel syndrome towards the end there. I think
Mm,
Jurassic Park 2 and 3 should have been the same movie, really.
mm. Or just completely cut out Jurassic Park 3.
I mean character-wise, just if you're bringing
Yeah,
in the characters from the first movie, just bring them all back, and then you can have like one big blowout,
yeah,
and
it's
then
weird.
you
All
can
the
be done.
sequels for that, all the sequels had a character from the original, but only one that carried over. Two had Jeff Goldblum, or no, not one, but they didn't come back for any other ones, so they
Yeah.
just came back for the one sequel. It's like yeah, Jeff Goldblum. You had Dr. Grant and what's her name for 3 coming back. You know, she was only in for a little bit. You had BD Wong coming back for Jurassic World, so
Uh,
it's kind of funny how that
you had
worked.
what's his name for the main doctor guy from the first movie too, in 3.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, Dr. Grant.
Well, um, huh.
Yeah, I think it was a great year. There were some mediocre movies that, like, more critic wise, it was an amazing year. If you look at just the good movies that came out, it was fantastic. And then you look, and there was Fantastic Four, which was terrible, and Pixels, which was terrible. Then we had like Avengers 2, which was kind of a lot of the blockbusters kind
Not
of
as
went meh,
good as
but
Avengers 1, not as good as The Winter Soldier.
not as good as Ant Man,
Oh God,
and that's saying something.
it's like,
I mean, I loved Ant Man though. I fully expected to hate that, but I loved
oh,
it.
I thought you said Hitman.
No, no, not Hitman. Ant
that,
Man.
that's even worse. That would be even worse.
Ant Man at like 15% or whatever it's at. But no, yeah, that's another terrible movie that came out this year. But yeah, there were a lot of amazing critical movies that came out, and
Yeah,
it'll be a good year once we forget all the bad movies that came out.
2016 could either turn out like we said before, or it could either turn out really good or really bad.
Yeah, but I
Because
don't think as far as like critically acclaimed, like more uh, classroom movies,
yeah,
I don't think it'll be as. Yeah,
more
this is gonna be
generally,
a fun.
yeah.
This is gonna be a movie where you're just like, oh yeah, I just gotta go out and see everything because this is gonna be so much fun. Whereas last year was more, these are just good movies. They are solid movies. They're good filmmaking and everything.
So, what was your least favorite part of the Oscars?
Ah, man. There were a couple of bits that just of Chris Rock's hosting that just felt a little off, I guess. He handled it pretty decently, I'd say, but again, he was just kind of he was off at points, and yeah, then we had Sam Smith doing Writings on the Wall, and he felt like he did not know how to sing up there, and
He seems generally like the kind of guy who should not be performing live, almost.
yeah, I don't understand what happened. He has a good voice, and he's up there, he's just screeching. I'm like, he just doesn't seem to know what he's doing,
Jontron,
and
Jontron singing Fireworks sounded better than he did. I'm just gonna put that out there.
and then yeah, it was just we had that scrolling text, the thank yous. That really worked. Good job, guys. I knew as soon as I heard that, I'm like, it's not going to work. It's just because seeing your name at the bottom of the screen is not the same as hearing the person thank you. So they're still going to thank them verbally. So it was pointless.
Mm. Then there was also the Oscars so white controversy. I was glad Chris Rock shut that down. Because overall, even though this was a good year, again, a lot of smaller films that probably should have been up for running weren't nominated.
Yeah,
And
we have these big fields, these big movies just dominating now. And
yeah, and you know, Straight Outta Compton was snubbed across that, but it's a
Creed was snubbed.
Creed was snubbed. But the thing is, Creed is a sequel, and Straight Outta Compton is a biopic.
Hmm.
And
Wait, so they've been loving those the last couple of years, though.
oh yeah, but Creed is a sequel, so it's not going to be nominated. And Michael B. Jordan was just in a couple of really bad movies this year too, so
Yeah, he needs a better agent.
yeah.
I still think that Michael B. Jordan one day will be an Oscar winner, but right now he's fallen in bad movies.
He would have been great as Johnny Storm if he hadn't had such a bad movie to work with.
He's the only one in that movie that seems like he's trying throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, the rest of them, I'm just like towards the end, were like, eh.
They checked out. They're just like whatever. Like, especially Miles Teller.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and yeah, again, he's gonna be great one year. He was great in Fruitvale Station. He was great in Creed. I still loved him in Chronicle. So yeah, he's gonna be good, and I'm like positive he's gonna be up there holding an Oscar one day.
Yeah.
But it's just yeah.
Jada Pinkett Smith said that she was boycotting in the Oscars. Was she even in a movie this year?
Not that I know. As far as I know, she was only in Gotham. So the only reason she'd go is for Will's plus one, essentially.
Okay, was Will in a movie this year?
I would have.
Last year?
Well, he was in concussions, so
Oh
that's the one
yeah,
that
that movie.
yeah.
That movie that barely had any promotion.
I saw it a lot on YouTube. It was getting annoying.
Well, that's like the only place I saw it though, because I
Yeah,
didn't.
that's about it. And he had that terrible accent that everybody makes fun of.
I know that was the thing that bugged me about that. That it was like, Will, you're a good actor.
Exactly. He's been nominated before for
Put on
Ali,
a
and
better accent.
he's a terrific actor, and he's another one that needs to escape the movies he's been doing. He tried it, and he did not pick the right movie.
And seriously, Will, stop being in movies with your son.
Yeah, please just let him do his own
Just
thing. You
let
do your thing because you're better.
let Jaden be crazy, and then you can do good movies like Ali, or whatever,
Hmm. Or The Pursuit of Happiness,
or The Pursuit of Happiness, or literally anything
Seven
but
Pounds,
After Earth.
anything. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a great actor, and yeah, hopefully he will do a real movie that deserves a nomination.
Yeah,
But yeah, he didn't deserve it this year,
no,
and her boycotting because of that is really stupid.
it's
Again, the only person I really think was majorly snubbed was Jason Mitchell. But
right,
I've said this before: you take one person out of Best Actor, you could have filled it with 10 more people.
right.
So it's not that big of a deal, but hey, what do I
I
know?
mean, I kind of think that Michael Fassbender should have been disqualified because, they set out to portray Steve Jobs and they failed.
Yeah, he did not portray Steve Jobs.
Even if the performance was good, they failed to do what they set out to do.
Even though he was good to Macbeth, he probably could have been nominated for that too.
Yeah, I mean, just switch that
I
out.
still need to watch that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
And let's see here. It just basically comes down to, it was. It's a. The Academy just needs to stop being so pretentious, basically,
yeah.
because they,
I mean,
if they would if they'd have considered Beasts of No Nation, then I think they. Because first off, that seems like something that would probably deserve to be.
nominated for a
Yeah,
bunch,
but because it's a Netflix movie, it wasn't going to get
even
nominated.
though even though they're claiming that wasn't why. We all know that that's why.
Yeah, it's it comes down to, it's like these movies that don't go through the traditional channels are never going to get nominated
Mm-hmm.
ever.
And Netflix has proven that they can do stuff right. So hopefully they'll be the ones to break that. They were the first to do to get Emmys for original TV shows. So hopefully they'll start doing that with the Oscars.
Yeah, and then maybe we can finally start seeing more indie movies breaking into the Oscars. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem, is that the Academy, it's not that they have too high standards, it's that
They
they've
only recognize bigger movies.
right. And if they would stop just going after the big movies, just going after the most obvious stuff, they would certainly have better choices.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it was a pretty good show. I mean, definitely the highlight is Leo finally winning. So
Yep.
I think that I saw that the numbers dropped to like an 8-year low this year probably because of Chris Rock and everything that's surrounding it. But I'd say most of the people who tuned in to see Leo win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just a crazy thing now to finally see that, and I think that's what most people care about. And I'm sure we're going to see even more drops here, and the Academy's got to change. And they've said that they're taking steps, but hopefully they can do it before it's too late.
I mean, I'm looking at their diversity improvement plan. It doesn't sound like something that'll work.
The
It
problem
basically just comes
is
down to who they're addressing the wrong problem.
exactly they're addressing the Academy problem when it's a Hollywood problem.
Right. It's an issue of big movies. If you don't go Hollywood and you're not a big movie, you're not going to make it critically. You're not going You might make it critically, but you're not going to make it commercially. And you're
Exactly.
certainly not going to get any awards. And that's the problem, is that filmmaking is shifting. And they're not realizing that.
See, I'm getting to a point now where I'm starting to like indie movies better because indie movies they allow the people to be more creative, and this is really become a shift for me because I've always liked the big budget. I've liked blockbusters, and but now I'm looking at the smaller movies because I'm like these are more creative, they're more fun, and they know what they're doing, and they're not being like held down by big studios or like no we can't do this or we can't do this because of this and this.
I think the
And
problem with some indie movies is that occasionally you'll get like an indie director or an indie movie that gets a deal, and then they will promote the hell out of it without telling you who has actually made the movie. If you're lucky. Occasionally
yeah,
they'll just promote it tokenly and then just release it straight to DVD.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're having again with the whole Netflix thing. We're going through this whole thing now where now Netflix and Amazon are going to these festivals and they're picking up the movies to put out, and I hope it's going to be a good shift.
I
And
kind of
hopefully, yeah, that the Academy will notice that.
I'm kind of afraid that of what'll happen if Amazon starts picking up more stuff because I don't have Amazon Prime.
I had, yeah, like I said a couple weeks ago, I had to get it for the new Top Gear whenever it comes out.
And Doctor
But
Who
yeah,
is shifting to there. All right.
is it finally good
Yeah.
since Netflix lost that deal? But yeah, like, yeah, this is gonna be a good movement for indie movies, hopefully, where we're gonna get more recognition because I think people are saying that film's dead, but I think it's becoming more and more popular just amongst a different crowd. So people are looking more at movies as art now, and it's going to help that we're getting these indie movies out there. And Academy should take notice of this and say maybe we shouldn't go after all these big studios and start going for actual good movies.
I would like to personally, I would love to see a shift towards YouTube because that
Oh
is
yeah,
like
totally.
the perfect distribution platform because you can have people donating money to you because if you like their movie, you can make money off of ad revenue and all that. And
Or you can, or you can get sponsored deals, or
yeah,
you
and you
can
can
get,
literally
or yeah,
watch
you
it
could just
anywhere.
say, and you could just be like, hey, people want to donate money for me to do what I want to do, and they'll be like, yeah, here you go, and you can do what you want to do, and you're backed by the public, and
Right.
yeah, I mean, me and you are both obviously YouTubers, and
Hmm.
yeah, one day I hope to be in that position where I just be like, I kind of want to do this, and I can do it because I have that freedom.
And if I think that'll be a much harder shift for the Academy to recognize than even Netflix and on-demand streaming because it's a place where literally anybody can put stuff.
Well, that's gonna be a whole nother topic with that one because I mean that's just not a Hollywood thing. That's a life in general thing where people refuse to look at YouTubers as celebrities or stars, or
Yeah,
they just that's a whole nother topic that we can go off on. But
yeah. Let's see here. Well, we're at almost an hour or so. I think we've covered everything we can.
yeah, just about.
Okay, then. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get next week's podcast out on time.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. What's the biggest news that just happened?
I don't know, but I guess we should probably sign off so we don't waste any more of the viewers' time.
Yeah.
See you guys next week.
All right. See you guys.